carving out an expert niche is critical to your success as a health coach. And some of the best niches come from your greatest pain. And today we have an amazing guest who has done just that. Amy Sando had struggled with lupus for 30 years, struggling with lupus, the horrible pain and all of that. And she has been declared lupus free by her doctor. And that has led her to be able to help others now with this purpose filled career. And I can't wait for you to hear how she overcame this incredible struggle, the amazing things that she has done, and all of the amazing work that she now gets to do, and how she's taken that pain and created an incredible second career with it. So, with that, welcome, Amy.
Well, hello there. Thanks.
I am so excited to chat with you. A lot of health coaches have autoimmune conditions that led them to be interested in health and led them to then do work as a health coach. But yours is kind of next level. Like your story really is very powerful. Take us back to what you were doing before, like sort of what work were you doing? And because most people don't, grow up wanting to be a health coach, they haven't even heard of it. What was your life like before? And kind of walk us through what happened when you were diagnosed with lupus.
Okay, well, I have was a drama and English teacher for 31 years and recently retired. I was diagnosed with lupus, and then life changed from there because I thought I just had to live with that. I didn't know a lot about it. And then when I had my second child, I had a major flare up where the pain and stiffness was so bad. I had no energy. I couldn't take care of my children. And after that, I had to retire from teaching. I didn't go back to full-time work for a full 8 years.
Wow. And so so there was a hiatus in there and you struggled. Tell us a little bit about, so there was the pain, the exhaustion, not able to look after your kids, which is, and how old were your kids?
My oldest was 2, and so the big flare up happened after my second. So she was a baby. She was 6 months old
Yeah.
when I was really hit. Um, and I had no energy, and I had pain and stiffness from head to toe. It would just spread.
And just being a mom of toddlers is challenging and exhausting at the best of times, without this. Now, um, you were diagnosed at 29. Had you
29.
suffered before for a length of time before you were diagnosed, or?
I had suffered, but I didn't connect that to anything.
Yeah.
I kind of think since high school,
Yeah.
I was already suffering. And it was actually poor circulation that sent me to the doctor. I was always cold.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
okay. So then, and then kind of what was your like nutrition like? And in like, you were like, you know, what was your lifestyle like before? And then what happened next? So that's that first little bit. We retired. And then, I know you went back to teaching. So tell us a little bit about that, how things got, worse than better. And like that does happen and
Yeah. Yeah.
reverse, it becomes more tolerable. So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that and what was the progression of the symptoms, and then yeah, anything that you want to share about that, because it kind of went, from my understanding for you, from bad to worse.
Yes. So I actually thought I was pretty healthy. So in college, I had become a vegetarian, and then I ate a lot of healthy foods.
Yeah,
And so when I was diagnosed, I didn't really make the health connection.
yeah,
Um, but then fast forward to 2019, and I regular doctor's appointment, looking at my labs, and I was dealt with chronic kidney disease, stage 3. And so that really became my line in the sand
hmm,
because the life expectancy is 10 to 15 years after that.
yeah,
And to me, that was unacceptable. That just couldn't happen. I needed to be there for my children, for my grandchildren. I loved what I did. I loved being a teacher. And so that's when I really just went into a lot of research as an educator. I love researching. So
yes,
that's what I did. And that's when I discovered that I had to do more than look at what I thought was healthy.
yeah.
Um, and I had to look at everything, my entire lifestyle. And so I looked at stress and I looked at sleep and I looked at movement, not just nutrition. And then what I learned from that is that implementing these things, they were short, they were simple, they were sustainable, they were small shifts, but adding them all up, stacking them all up, really led to a transformation in my health.
Yeah, awesome. And then so that was kind of the line in the sand. It's like, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
really bad, and I'm a mom, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to be around for my children. And so like this is not okay. Like I can't do this. And otherwise, like, it kind of feels well, how did it feel to when you're given that diagnosis? Like,
I was scared. I was
yeah.
terrified. I was also angry about it.
Hmm.
I felt overwhelmed, and just what was this going to be my life? Like, what was my life going to look like?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, horribly scary to have something and then have people go like, and by the way, there's no cure. Like
Right,
there's
right.
no cure. And here you go. And it's gotten bad and it's gotten
Mhm.
worse and
Yes,
things don't
yeah.
look good for you. So of course you're terrified. And of course you're gonna like, you're really fighting for your life at this point.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so you probably tried and it sounded like you had, you kind of had tried the extreme things, and now you're like, okay, hey, it's these small, through all of your trial and error, you had some time to work on this. You had 30 years to work on this, um, and over the time of all of the things that you tried, and so that what you landed on with all of the crazy things that people would sometimes, the
Hmm.
extremes of things, what you landed on was like it's really about these small sustainable shifts. It's not just about food. It's not about the food. It's about the
Right,
food, but it's not
right.
just about the food. It's
Yes,
about everything.
yes.
Give people some examples of like, um, so maybe somebody here listening, maybe they're a health coach, or maybe they have a loved one, or maybe they have lupus, and they're like, "Girl, tell me what to do. I want to know." And so, what were some of the things when you say small, sustainable shifts? Okay, that we like the sound of that, but what does
Mhm.
that mean? Like, what does that look like? Like, what were some things that you did that changed things?
Well, I did start with nutrition,
Hmm.
and I started with removing things.
Hmm.
So highly processed foods.
Yeah,
But then I started adding more nutrient dense foods. So
yeah,
I really upped how much produce and plant-based foods that I eat. And then I looked at other things. So being a teacher and all the stress, I didn't sleep very well. I learned a lot about sleep hygiene, and how what I do in the morning actually impacts my entire day and impacts my sleep as well.
yeah,
I looked at, so I'm not very good with meditation, but
yeah,
I did start doing mindfulness and just learning simple breathing exercises. There are multiple different types of breathing exercises to help regulate our stress. And then
hmm,
one of the big things that I had started to do when you have a chronic illness, there's so
hmm.
many people who they've heard of lupus, but they don't really know what it is and what it does.
Right, right.
And that had been really kind of painful to live with some of those experiences because people don't know what I can and can't do. And so just getting back to things that I really love to do. So I always love to go out dancing, but like now I turn on music and I started dancing in the kitchen, and I got out of my isolation and I started doing game nights and outdoor concerts, and being with my girlfriends and with family, and laughing more and looking for simple ways to reduce stress. So instead of having to do, a long program of, nervous system regulation, is like, what can I do day to day and what can I do multiple times a day? And those things really turn things around for me.
So it sounds like you focused on what you could do. So there was limits on what you couldn't do, but what you did is instead of dwelling on that, you look slow and steady. You just kind of gradually improved and increased and focused on what you can do and what you did like to do, what felt good, and like
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
it fun. Like anybody can dance in the kitchen. Well, nobody's looking at you. It doesn't matter how much, but if it feels good, like that's good. And it was more about the feeling of that and surrounding yourself and having fun again, and
Yes.
not like
Yes.
really taking on the label and I'm a sick person and I'm an invalid. It's really like really
Hmm.
empowering yourself. I think that's so powerful what you did. Like there's so like it was mindset, it was mind, body, spirit, like all of it.
Yeah.
And really like you addressing the stress and the sleep and all of those kind of things and
Mhm,
movement and
mhm.
that. Okay, so
Right.
like with all of that, then what happened? Now I kind of stole your thunder right up at the beginning to let people know there's a happy ending here. But tell us then, as you implemented that, and even though they said there's nothing that can be done and etc., then what actually happened? Like, what happened? Where are you at now?
So I started noticing pretty early on that my energy was increasing. My brain fog was lifting. I was having less and less stiffness and pain. I mean,
Hmm.
normally I could wake up in the morning and something was going to hurt. I might not know what it is, whether it was going to be wrists that day or elbows or ankles. And I started just having less of that. Other things that I noticed as well, I would suffer from vertigo, sometimes for up to 3 days, disappeared. My skin got better, dry, itchy skin. Now I have much better skin. So there were all these things like that that happened. And then I went into a routine, looking
Hmm.
at my labs. And my doctor said, you don't have any markers for lupus. Like they're not
Wow.
there.
Awesome.
And that was amazing. And then as well, my stage 3 kidney disease, my kidney counts were better. And
Awesome.
every time I have lab work, my kidney counts are better. And so I'm fully confident
Yeah.
that I'm going to recover my kidney health.
So, I mean, yeah, the trajectory's there. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's really um, how rewarding for you to, yes, you're feeling better and your pain's gone and your skin's better and everything is improving. So, that's the main thing. Like if you're feeling great, it's feeling great. But then to
Yeah.
have confirmation from your doctor,
Yeah. Yeah.
when we're looking, we don't see any
Mm-hmm.
markers for lupus.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Right.
Like if you'd have walked in the doctor's office and said, "Hey, can you just check and see how I'm doing?" And like, you don't have
Right. Right.
that's
Yeah.
amazing and miraculous and
Yes.
I'm so used to like seeing health coaches with these incredible stories. So like you're not the
Mm-hmm.
first, you won't
Mm-hmm.
be the last. And so I know it's possible. I've seen it over and over again. And there is a theme. It really is that small consistent, but nobody thinks anything can be done. So if nothing can be done, why would you do anything? And so like if you're like, oh, it's dumb luck, look what happened to me, darn it, nuts,
Right.
and then you're just like, that's my lot in life, I just have to deal with it. But you and so many other amazing health coaches are really leading the charge and say, hold on a minute, not necessarily, there are things that you can do, you can at least make it better and just keep going until the better is so better that it's better than you've ever been before. And like,
Mm-hmm.
who cares what we really call it? So that is tremendous and phenomenal and a testament and should be so inspiring for anyone listening, that there's hope. There's hope that you can do, that there is things to do, and that you can, and then it's kind of, you can take back control of it. Like you can at least have a say in it and some power in that. So I love that. So is that why? And what led you to want to become a health coach? Like you saw that? Is that kind of the connection there?
That was pretty much my motivation. I was retiring from teaching, and so I was thinking about, well, what's my second act? What am I going to do? And because of my own health transformation, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Because I had been having all these conversations about health and what we can do to improve our health and what we can do for ourselves. And so it just kind of naturally led into that. So I became, in my last year of teaching, I got certified in holistic nutrition. And then I found your program and started creating a niche out of that and learning what I could do.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, who is it that you are passionate about helping now? I assume it's lupus, but like, share, who is it? I know you can help so many people, but who are you especially passionate about? And yeah, give us an update at where you're at now.
So the women that I help are women with lupus or other autoimmune diseases, or they have chronic inflammation, chronic stress, and they have
Hmm.
other health conditions, but that they've been living with for a while, or women that have been recently diagnosed and don't know where to turn or what to do, and they're really scared.
Yeah, yeah. And you really help like walk them through and implement kind of those simple sustainable shifts that you talked about before, that really and look at it from a holistic approach so they can get their energy back, get out of pain, improve
Yes.
their skin,
Yeah.
all those things, and kind of and really improve things. I love it. How long ago was it now that you retired from teaching so that you can like do now your
It,
full purpose work is now health coaching?
right. It's been just over a year.
Yeah, awesome.
So yeah, so I've been doing this for several months now.
I love it. Okay, so that's exciting. And so many people like are a little bit timid to leave a former career to do this, but you can just tell like it's time and it's meant to be. And teaching is good. Really, coaching is there. You know, there's definitely
Right.
crossover there. Some of
Right.
the best coaches are also teachers.
Yeah,
They're patient. They're understanding.
it was a natural progression because I am a teacher and I'm a mentor and I get to do those things still.
Yeah, yeah. What do you like best about being a health coach?
Oh, I just really like that I can help women, to see them be either feeling that this is just the way it is, but when, they don't come to me because they like just the way it is.
Yeah.
So they want help. And so being able to see their lives transform, and as well as those who were recently diagnosed, same thing. They're overwhelmed. They don't know, what's ahead. And so to be able to be there, as a mentor and a guide for them. And then
Hmm.
there's other things with having your own business. I can work from home. I no longer have to get up at 5 in the morning,
Hmm.
cram in something to eat and rush off to work. I have energy. I'm not crashed when I get home. I have all this energy. I love that I have more freedom now. I can travel if I
Yeah.
want to. I can spend more time with family and friends. One example of being able to be there for my friends and family is this past winter, my sister broke her neck, and I was able to go be with her,
Yeah.
and help her, work through that until she could be on her own again.
Yeah, I love the free. I really feel like health coaching is the best career in the world because it's an extension of you. Like you can have it be unique to you. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's, and clearly your practice doesn't look like anybody else's, right?
Mm-hmm,
And nobody
mm-hmm,
has struggled through or gone through what you have specifically, and so you know that and it's something that you would do like no matter what like you really want you're passionate about this, you know how painful it was to be before and what people are struggling, and you speak the same language and you know their fears, but you know the path through to get to the other side of that, and it's
right,
huge. And especially when we're talking about something like lupus, I mean that's serious, it's a significant
mm-hmm,
thing. And so there
mm-hmm,
are going to be other doctors and health providers that are involved in people's care. And that's really important for people to realize. Like, your role is not to replace the work of their doctor. Like, that's not what we're
right,
talking about at all. Just as, Amy still goes to her doctor. He's the one who checks to find out, what how her kidney function is doing. So there's that.
right,
But
right,
even still, I think what you found was there was um well, what did you find? Like there was kind of a limit, kind of like they would be able to prescribe this, do this, tell you to
yeah,
do that. But then like they're only seeing you for however many minutes
right,
every so often. It's checkpoints, but it's
right.
not the hand holding in between.
Yeah, I found actually see my specialist, I found that frustrating because you get told what you already know. You get told that you're either better or you're worse, as in my case with the kidney function. Um, and then they just tell you like eat better, stress less, but they don't tell you how to go about that.
Yeah.
Well, I am the how.
Yeah.
That's what I can teach. That's what I can guide and help women through. Is this is how we do this.
Yeah. And I think that's the benefit of health coaches. And like everybody has their unique role. Like we want the doctors and the specialists who are able to order the tests, who are able to decipher the tests. I've been a medical doctor for 25 years prior to becoming a health coach myself. Like that is that role. And we want them to do that role. And we want them to just, it is a check to say, I'm feeling good. Do I have confirmation? Like it's really wonderful for you to, you know, do all this work, feel great, but it is really great for the doctor then to say, hey, by the way, you have no markers for lupus.
Right.
Like that also is like
Yeah.
that is really great. We
Yeah.
really
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but
Really excited.
their role is not to kind of, walk you through and say,
Mhm.
hey, you should be doing these breathing exercises. Like
Yeah.
that's the role of a health coach. And
Right.
their role is not to say, hey, by the way, go through your
Yeah.
cupboards. Maybe don't eat this. Did you
Yeah.
know that this is hiding in there and that this is toxic? That's not the job. That's not what they
And
were trained for, right? And so
yeah.
the two together. And I
Yeah.
think the other thing is, I know that you're so passionate about the science as well. And
Hmm.
as an
Hmm.
educator, as a teacher, you're also a lifelong student.
Right.
And I remember saying, one of the advantages that you are able to provide is really, because there's so much conflicting noise out
Yes.
there about the
Yes.
latest fad and the latest trend.
Hmm.
So you're
Hmm.
able to kind of like, okay, here's tried and true.
Yes.
Here's what works,
Yes.
and kind of help people make it simple and sustainable, and not
Yes.
go off with the latest fad or the trend
Right.
or the extreme,
Right.
cut out all of this sort of
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
just to make it so that they can actually do it and follow it, which I think is
Right.
huge.
I love to stay up with the science. That's one of my favorite parts. And because women with this kind of diagnosis, they don't know where to go, and so they chase supplements and they chase therapies and they chase all sorts of other things. And I'm not saying that none of those things don't work, because often some of those things do work for a time.
Yes.
But think about the thousands of dollars that they've been spending
Yeah.
chasing these other things that may help for a while. But what I'm sharing is this is for a lifetime. This isn't just to get you over this what you're dealing with now. This is going to improve your entire life, give you your energy back, your focus back, your life back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will just say a word. Like, I do have, since I was a medical doctor for,
Mhm.
25 years, if you're a medical doctor, and you have patients with lupus and you're like, man, I wish could offer more. Like I have my thing, but I haven't, you might not personally have struggled with lupus, so you don't know it as intimately firsthand, trial and error, using your body as a living lab to kind of sort out what works and what doesn't work. I absolutely support Amy here, and can, feel free to reach out to her and send people to kind of, she'll just walk them through. It's nothing crazy, right? It's simple stuff that they kind of should be doing anyways, but we want to do it consistently eating clean food, consistently, managing our stress, and all of that. And also, meanwhile, not undermining what any of the you've got going on medically, like,
Right. Right.
respecting that, like working with the doctor,
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
all on the same team for this person, to help them get great results. So
Right.
if you happen to be listening in, I know we do have a lot of doctors that are watching, feel free to reach out to Amy and find out a little bit more about what she does. At the end, I'll put we'll talk about how they can get in touch with you, or if you have lupus yourself. Um, what is something that you struggled with, Amy, when you were trying to create your health coaching practice and put it together, before you joined? So, like, now you have you went through all of that. You're like, hey, I want to help other people. Okay, so, and then you become a health coach, and then what? And then that's where a lot of the people that follow me here are like, how do I do this? I know you put someone in front of me, I can help them be healthy, but like, how do we do this? How do we structure this? How does this work? And so, what were some of the things that you struggled with when you were trying to create your own health coaching practice, before you joined the Health Professional Academy?
Well, I really struggled with where did I want to work? Where did I want to put my energy? Did I want to work with other health practitioners? Did I want to do something on my own? Did I want to go work with doctors? Did it, like, there were so many different things that I could have done. And so that was part of it. I did not have any business background, but I actually found Free to Heal kind of early on. I had been working with a lot of volunteer clients,
Mm-hmm.
but I was working with anyone who had any health condition that, or they just wanted to lose weight, things like that. And so finding that niche, so that niche market is what you really help with, and like, who did I really want to focus on? And it's interesting that I didn't even think about focus on just women with lupus and other autoimmune, but right then as I started doing this, it's like, no, that's exactly because
Yeah.
it's my story. When I
Yes.
do talk to people,
Yeah.
uh, it's what I've gone through that is really appealing and why they want to learn more.
Yeah. It's so interesting to hear people hear you now. It would be like, well, duh, of course she wanted to help with lupus. She had lupus. Uh, but that's almost never the conversation we have as people are entering in. They're like really unsure of their niche. And it sounds like, oh, well, that's pretty easy. But for so many reasons, they're unsure. And I remember a couple of my clients, but one in particular who had Crohn's disease, and so it'd be like, well, of course, Crohn's is her niche, but that never occurred until we mind the story because she'd been in remission for 10 years. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine something that you might have been struggling with, which was top of mind 10 years ago. And you
Right.
don't really think about it because it was so 10 years ago. That's why. And then when
Mhm.
you know that when you go through a coaching program and you learn about all of this stuff in a general sense so that people can help anybody, which is good. And then you could help anybody. And then we tend to kind of want to help everybody, and then
Right.
we end up
Right.
helping nobody, and then we kind of fall back. So it's really about looking at your own story as to what do you have areas of expertise in. And so like, and then you can see, like, for everybody listening in, it is very clear to everybody else, Amy should be helping people with lupus because hardly anybody knows how to do that. And but it wasn't clear to Amy at the beginning. And likewise, there's
Right.
something that sometimes it's easier for someone else to spot. I don't know if you've ever had that with a friend. Maybe everybody knows that maybe there's a group of people and they have a friend and they are dating somebody, and like all of that'll not get, but that person doesn't know, right? So sometimes
Mhm.
you're the last to know. So I just
Yeah.
want you to
Yeah.
know, like, it might seem foggy to you, and it might seem like it's simple and obvious to someone else, but there's a little bit of a process. And also, just because you can help someone doesn't mean that's the niche you're supposed to be. So just because
Right.
Amy can help people with lupus doesn't mean, she wants to. It's like sometimes the things that you have an expertise in can be a little bit triggering. And sometimes there's something that you're really struggling with, and we don't want to ever be the blind leading the blind. And so Amy had clearly got to a point of a track record, and she felt passionate about it and felt good about helping people to avoid the 30 years and the struggle and the pain and the suffering that she went through. And so, we landed on that. And so I love that. And so if that's you, Amy mentioned Free to Heal. I'm going to put a link in the description if you want a free copy of Free to Heal. And I'll also put a link in the description for Six Figure Health Coach. So if you're wanting those free copies of these books to help you kind of help carve out your niche and kind of get you started on your way with your practice. All right, so back to you, Amy, here. So you help people with lupus and autoimmune, and like there's over 80 autoimmune conditions, and but especially lupus, but all autoimmune. It's because
Right. Right.
you can help them with all of that. What would
Mhm.
you say is the biggest myth that people have when it comes to looking to solve this, to get on the other side?
I think the biggest myth is that they believe that they can just manage symptoms. Um,
Hmm.
and that's what their life is going to be. It's going to be flare ups. They're going to get better. They're going to get worse. There's so little out there that you can go into remission for years,
Hmm.
19, 20 plus years, that, and you can resolve autoimmune conditions. You actually can. That's the biggest myth. This isn't a life sentence.
So
Yeah.
good. I think that's really important to know because if it's not possible, it's like the Roger Bannister 4 minute mile, right? So, like, yeah, until somebody does it, you don't think it's possible. And then as soon as someone does it, then that in itself is very helpful and makes it more likely. So, other people just hearing your story, that's going to be helpful for them. So, appreciate that. If you have questions for Amy, pop that in the comments below, and we can make sure that she reaches out and answers to you. We'll again, in a minute, we'll just let you know how you can get in touch with her. as a health coach, as you're creating your own business, even just the act of creating your own business, um, that's one thing. But how have you grown, would you say, as a person, in as you've developed this health coaching practice and this journey?
Well, I've really grown because in starting a business, I was a perfectionist.
Hmm.
I call myself a recovering perfectionist, and that takes a lot of energy and time. And so I learned to let that go, that I
Yeah,
had to let that go, and that progress over perfection
yeah,
is what I need to keep in mind all the time. And I have seen progress. So even if I'm not seeing a lot of clients at the time, it's progress, progress, progress. But it did slow me down a lot because I thought everything had to be all like ready to go and all my ducks in a row, and that kept me from actually starting earlier, helping
yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good mantra uh, for all of us and a good reminder that we have to keep being reminded of because we're high achievers, we're smart people, we want to do a good job. But if we want to do a good job, we want to do meaningful work. That's a really good mantra, progress over perfection. Keep going in the right direction. And I
Yes.
think that's a very common thing that people have. It's like, well, when I have my logo or my website or whatever, and meanwhile, there are people like literally dying for your help. And it's like, I always say, get out of your own way. It's not about you. You know enough to help another human being, even if it's just helping them like drink more water or, helping them sleep better. So, like, really connect with people and see and have the conversations. And you'll be amazed that, like, as you hear what they're struggling with, okay, you already know how to help with that because you've already been through it. And you don't need any fancy paraphernalia to be able to get started and lead with love, heart to heart, soul to soul, really help people as much as you can. And so, yeah, getting started and and then continually make it better and better and better and better. There is no finish line. So I think that's really great advice, Amy. One thing that, when health coaches get to the root cause, which is what, you guys all do, you help people get to the root cause of their issues, then the great thing when we do that is not only, the symptom maybe that they're coming to you for gets better, but like all sorts of things get better. And I really like it's like this big gift that opens. And it's
Yes,
one of
yes,
my favorite parts to find out what were some of the amazing blessings and gifts that happened in people's lives as they came to you for one thing, and then all of these other things that they didn't even know about. And it's really the gift that keeps on giving. Like that's as health coaches, that's the opportunity that you have to give to your clients. It's tremendously amazing. So I love to hear one or two stories that you might have of a client that you worked with. And then you were working with them with this, and then all these other things happen. So
okay,
just a
all
couple of
right.
there.
So one of my clients was in her 70s, and she came with to me because she had low immunity, and she would just pick up infections that were there in the air, and she was afraid. She'd become very isolated because she was afraid to catch something if she was out in a crowd. It even kept her from seeing her granddaughter as much as she would like to. She also had prediabetes. She suffered from migraine. She suffered from GERD. So she had quite a few health issues. And then, but over time, she gained so much energy
Yeah.
that she was able to do things she hadn't been doing. Her sisters call her the Energizer Bunny now. But then also one of the best things was she mentioned that she had gotten pneumonia every year for the past 6 years. And this was the first year she did not get pneumonia.
Wow. Yeah. So that, I mean, like everything's better, like migraines,
Yeah,
GERD,
right, right.
energy. And
Yeah,
that
lots of
is,
things cleared up.
yeah. And so that's all again back to that same process that you walk people through, the simple, sustainable shifts that you did that you're leading other people through.
Hmm.
It's really
Hmm.
powerful. And then, and be able to be with family again is
Yes, yes,
huge. Like if
yep.
you're,
She
yeah.
she travels a lot now, and she's not afraid to be around her granddaughter.
Yeah, I mean that's
So,
huge, right? So like the spin-off benefits and then the relationship benefits and
mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
so awesome. Do you have another one to share?
I do. So one of my younger clients had recently been diagnosed with lupus. And in fact, we met, our contact came through a doctor's office.
Hmm.
And so she was just in a place of she didn't know what to expect. She didn't know what her life was going to look like. So she was very scared and overwhelmed. And so at the end of working with me, she had less pain. She had a lot more energy than she had had previously, but she also lost over 20 pounds. And so that gave her confidence back.
Yeah.
And then motivation
Yeah.
to like change other parts of her life that she, in her words, she had let go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love that. Like, I mean, because people with lupus are people too. And, a lot of times they also have weight loss and they might be looking at a weight loss program. And
mhm,
so rather than doing like a quick fix or a fad diet or struggling with exercise, that might be actually stressing them out and actually aggravating their lupus or doing it in an inflammatory way. Um,
yes, good
this
point.
way, not only does there be improvement in lupus, but also the weight loss, but also the way that client came to you through a doctor's office. Imagine as a doctor having you as a support system and team for them, because when someone gets that diagnosis, it's devastating. And no matter what somebody says who hasn't been through it, it's not nearly going to be as powerful. If they say, hey, it's going to be okay, we're going to do this and this and this, it's like they're always going to think you don't actually know. But when they're talking to you, they know. And so, if nothing else, just to have the support and to say, like, because they feel like their entire world falling apart, much like you with two little kids, and being told all of this, and it's devastating and it's crippling. Like, to be able to have you to connect with and hold their hand through the whole process, but then walk them through a process that actually makes things better. It's just, I mean, it's priceless. I mean, it's huge. It's amazing. And so, whether you are someone who's suffering with lupus, or whether you are a doctor or somebody who connects with the lupus community, absolutely, Amy Sando is somebody that you really want to get to know. She is a wealth of information, and your clients, your patients, really deserve to get to know her and what she's absolutely wonderful. And so, how can people get in touch with you, Amy, if they're like, yeah, 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 give me your number? What do they
Well,
do?
I think it's pretty simple. So I can be found. My website is amy'snutritioncoaching.com. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at Amy's Nutrition Coaching.
Nice and consistent.
Yeah,
Amy's nutrition coaching. So
nutrition
that's
coaching.
AMYS nutrition,
Yes,
Amy's
you got
nutrition coaching.
it.
.com. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you are a doctor or a health coach looking at like, hey, I've overcome some things, or I'm not sure if I have, but I would really like to help people at this deep, meaningful level, like Amy gets to do, and have the spin-off benefits. I've put a link here to another video on how to start your health coaching practice from scratch, 5 easy steps. So I'll put that to you there. So thank you so much, Amy, for being our guest and sharing your brilliance. So we really appreciate it.
You're welcome. This was great. Nice talking to you.
And with that, have a fantastic week. And of course, be good for you.